This is band number 1. They're a rock band. This is band number 2. They are also a rock band. They have growly, grungy vocals. They have melodic, multi-effects bass. They have indie-style guitars that they use for the verse parts. They also use sampled electronic drums rather than using an actual real person as a drummer.
Hello.
Hi, hope you like that little intro. It was, I guess, a little bit different to what we normally do.
Artsy.
Effort, that's what we put in. We're currently in Joe's bedroom. It's just getting a bit of a revamp at the moment, so...
Having the walls and the ceiling replaced.
Yeah, it might look a little bit different. We apologise. It'll be back to normal next week. From working in the music industry for the past, say, 2 years, in fact, I say exactly 2 years, like the past week, we have been working at a record label for exactly 2 years this week.
It was also my birthday.
Yeah, it was. It was exactly our birthday when we started. We've noticed, I guess, a change that kind of started 2 years ago, and that is that rock music and just distorted music in general, like your metal, punk, that kind of stuff, has started coming, not back, it's never gone. There's always been people making the music, but it started coming back into the mainstream. For example, Bring Me the Horizon, who a few years ago were just a local metal band that ended up going into like a medium-sized metal band. Over the past 2 years, they've been getting Radio 1 playlist, which is...
I remember when we were like in his early teens, and the only music that was ever in the charts or ever on Radio 1 was like Flow Rider and Niche, as they called it back then. Kesha, yeah.
There's many people, people older than us, that would be like, oh, it was great in the 90s when there was like Nirvana on the radio and Green Day and that kind of stuff. But then like we grew up through the 2000s, and it was pretty much just cheesy pop, like Last Ketchup and all that shit. I said that shit, I'd listen to that now. But over the past like 2 years, there's been a, not necessarily a surge. I don't think there's been that many artists to get to that kind of limelight. I mean, Slaves is a really good example. I recommend Slaves all the time. But Slaves, Slaves themselves quoted themselves as being punk and grime mixed together, which is two things that really shouldn't go well together, but they really do. They get regular radio play, mostly with like Radio 6. There are quite a few bands playing distorted music, like your rock, metal, punk, that are starting to get a lot of radio play. And radio play tends to be where it starts. When it starts with radio play, then sinks. Royal Blood is a massive example. When Royal Blood's debut album came out,
every single advert in the world wanted it.
Yeah, there was so much TV. In the UK anyway, I don't know what it was like in America, but in the UK, a lot, and I mean a lot of adverts were using Royal Blood's music.
I mean, Glastonbury Festival, their official theme of 2015 was Royal Blood.
Yeah, I believe, the Reading and Leeds last year, when they filmed everything, when they filmed every live performance for Reading and Leeds, and then they put those live performances on YouTube, the little intro and outro section was Royal Blood, I believe, as well.
Yeah.
It's not to say that rock is making a comeback or anything like that, but I think this is the start.
Yeah. Like Lenny said earlier, rock never really went away. There was always people making it, but having it in the limelight, and I think having like teenagers listen to it really determines how big it is, because the majority of teenagers nowadays will just listen to what is in the charts. And if what is in the charts is just pop music and like grime and all that crap, then I don't mean all that crap, I actually like grime. Nowadays, a lot of like 14 to 16 year olds are listening to heavier, distorted music, and that just shows how big it is in culture nowadays.
Yeah, and this is almost like a calling to you, which is why we did that little intro, the little thing about like the thing with these stickers that Joey's now butchering. We did that as a little thing just to say, to emphasize the point about originality that we're constantly going on about it, that it doesn't matter whether you've got a good backing behind you, whether you've got a good amount of people that already want to see you or anything, you've got to have good songs. But not only that, they've got to be original. They've got to be doing something new. They've got to be doing something different, like Slaves are doing, like Royal Blood did. Granted, there's so many people now that's just copying Royal Blood.
Just like they did with the Arctic Monkeys.
Yeah, like 10 years ago it happened with the Arctic Monkeys. 3 years ago it happened with Royal Blood. So, I think it might be 2 years ago. It doesn't matter. I guess this is more of a call out, a thing to say, a call to action, I suppose. In that there is currently a large potential for heavier music, for rock, for metal, for punk. There's an opportunity because there's radio play currently being dedicated to regular bands. All we need now is a lot of up-and-comers to be doing new original stuff. Bless you. All we need now is a large amount of bands to be coming up from our age and younger and maybe a little bit older. So pretty much our entire audience for Music Lab, all of you, if you get making good music, there's a very high chance that there is a market for it. Because currently, there seems to be a widening in the market for heavy music.
A lot of people say there's a market for everything, but there isn't. Not really.
No, especially if it's shit.
Yeah.
There's over the past week or so, we've had quite a few comments about how do I build an audience? How do I mean, we've answered this before in a Q&A, but really, provided you're making good original music, a following will come. Granted, there's techniques and methods that you can do to maybe make the amount of people that you're reaching higher, or make I don't know, anything that you're doing can be improved, but provided that you're making good original music that stands out, as we did with those rocks, there's a market there for you. I suppose this video is kind of a thing to try and deter you away from thinking I'm in a rock band, so I'll never get big, because rock isn't big anymore. It is. It might not be as big as pop, it might not be as big as indie, but it's there, and it's almost making a comeback.
I suppose maybe just be encouraged by the fact that rock is now in the charts and a lot of people like it. I mean, a lot of people have always liked it, but as we've said, it's in the mainstream now. And that's not to say you should just copy the bands that are in the mainstream. Come up with your own original idea, like Slaves combined punk and grime, like we said earlier. Combine two things, be original.
It doesn't necessarily have to be just like a on-the-point decision of being like, oh, we're gonna do this genre and this genre. If you just get in a room with like some weird effects pedals and just the mindset of being open to just playing something different, if all you normally do is just play chords, maybe try writing an entire song that doesn't use a single chord, that just uses riffs and like weird sounds and all that kind of stuff. Like, if you do that, then that might trigger something that's like, oh, what if I tried this? Or what if I tried this? Or what if I tried this? And if every person on every instrument is thinking like that, you can make a really original new sound. And that's what I'd recommend doing, and there is a market for it. This video has been madly all over the place with advice and all that kind of stuff. It doesn't really have a definite point, but I hope you took something away from it.
Enjoy the scenery.
Probably really blurry, but it does look kind of cool. Okay.
Have a good day.
Have a good day. Ooh! You know, that is a lump, and my arse has been on that for the entire thing. That's if I was smiling through the entire thing, that lump is why.